how do you see the world in which we live in today, sports? Because to me, sports is still so black and white. It's very few people such as yourself in sports or in what we do, because it's not just sports, the intersection of everything that has sports around. So, as at the center, how do you see this business moving forward?
Cari, it's crazy to me because all it is that we provided for anybody within this entertainment environment in the content business is a safe space in sports, right? Games, fun, escape. I tell you, sports, game, fun, escape. It doesn't have to be a cathedral, doesn't have to be sacred, doesn't have to be serious, doesn't have to be perfect all the time. All it is that we provided, our greatest gift, secret to environment, is you can be your most authentic self here. You can
Yeah.
you could tear down the veneer of television, the places where it's not humanizing, and it's just come be yourself here. Mina Kimes is a star, indisputably a star. She can make it wherever it is she wants to make it, but we gave her permission. She says this. I learned how to do that there. I was allowed to be myself, goofy and weird and falling apart and unprofessional, and it was humanizing, and
Yeah.
the people liked it. It isn't though. To me, the part that's stupefying about it though, Cari, is like, how can we be unique in that regard? Look at the world. We're at Disney. It's a fairy tale land. It is the escape. It's play. It's games. It's sports. How can we be the weird ones? Because we're just saying, hey, isn't this fun? Isn't all of this goofy and fun and wonderful? And also, it makes us think sometimes. And we talk about the deeper stuff when it makes us think. But come on, everybody join me in the circus tent. No, you don't want to? No. Come on, everybody over here. No, you want to stay over there? It was just weird. It still doesn't make any sense to me. So when you say, what's it going to look like in the future? Well, I think the Mannings are about to show us. I think we're about to change some of
Interesting.
these things. Like, can you become this intimate thing where I feel like I'm sitting around with my friends? You can take some chances. You can play, you can do the playground. But as it regards to ESPN, I think they're just going to pay 5 or 6 people, eliminate the middle class when it comes to talent, right? Five or
Mhm.
six people at the top, the middle class will be gone, and then a bunch of disposable pieces everywhere. ESPN doesn't have any real known competitors, so they can continue to do it that way while partnering with the big streaming places and do UFC and do SEC football and do,
Sure.
big sporting event things, big live sporting events, which is, Cari, it's the only thing. You look across the entire streaming industry, the only thing people have to be where they need to be, no on demand. I need to watch this now when it happens, is the live
Yeah.
sporting events they care about. That has enormous value. They don't need to pay for anything else. That by
I would.
itself is enough for a giant business.
Streaming is the future, and it's current. It's this. I agree with you. No one's. I don't know when the last. You don't watch TV unless you need to watch a game. Literally, and you can tune in when we covered the Olympics. We had on Peacock. It was streaming. We had the basketball, USA basketball. So it forced people to go and download or this app and purchase it for $5 because you just want to watch it 9 times out of 10, you're gonna keep it, right? It was the subscriptions were through the roof. Streaming is where everything is. And I think the reality though of us allowing people to be more authentic, although we may not see it in certain cases, that is it. I don't think anybody's paying to. Hey, you talk about Peyton. I love that he had a red Solo cup. That's the first thing I noticed because I'm queen of a red Solo cup. Listen, I'm looking at the clock like when is it noon? I need my red Solo cup. Damn it! I would love I would love to have been able to work there and have a red Solo cup, and he's just sipping on it while swinging the game. Is that not beautiful? Is that not a beautiful thing?
It is, but instead you just got stuck between Stephen A and Skip, and they let you say 4 words every hour
Every other hour.
while paying you 1/100th of what, or 1/1000th of what they were
You want
making.
you want to hear a crazy story? One time when I was working there, I don't know how this happened on accounting, but I got one of their paychecks. You know how you get direct deposit? And one of I don't know whose it was because all of a sudden I looked at my account and I went from having $2 to damn near $85,000 for the week. And I was like, who's this? Who's getting who's getting because I'm surely not getting paid $85,000 every week. Who is getting paid $85,000 every week at this table? And then I called HR and I was like, hey, do we have a problem or did I get a raise? And they were like, yeah, no, I don't know how that happened. I don't know whose paycheck that was. I was like, no lie, Dan. Like at the time, maybe I was making I'm making up a number, 2,000 every 2 weeks. I shit if I know, but it wasn't $85,000. Can you imagine? Could you imagine my face when I saw that?
Were you not aware of what the gentlemen near you were making? Because I don't know that they've corrected that.
Early on in 2012 when I started, that wasn't known. And remember, and I think Skip had a good contract, but Stephen A was still going through his contract. Stephen A wasn't making, I mean, in comparison back then, a lot, but he is obviously, you know how that place works. You put in your time, you get more money. Anyway, having said that, I I want to know something about you that I don't think that I've ever asked before. I didn't get a chance to work with you in that capacity, but who are you drawn to? Like when you would have, you're obviously drawn to Jay for obvious reasons because he's so great. But how did you decide? I really like having this person on. They make me laugh or they make me think.
It's funny that you should say that because I would say that over the years, what ended up happening more often than not, I love writers. I love writers who
Oh,
have some depth, but I think that what happened at ESPN was, I won't say it's a happy accident because there were a handful of people that we identified that we wanted just because I liked how it is that they spoke about things. But more often than not, they would somehow end up in our world because they wanted to be over here. You know, there were just sort of tentacles and connections that would make it easy. And it was more natural than just identifying talent. I'd love to take credit as some sort of grand master curator of young talent. But what we would do is just sort of provide the petri dish here that would create some vibrancy and it would sort of lure people. It's somewhere between a happy accident and a design because I know Mike Ryan does identify some people that he believes should have, a spot on the show, an appearance on the show, and then it grows from there. But that's hard to tell at the beginning, Cari, because some of them were so bad at the beginning. Like some of them get to us so raw that it's not immediately. Mina was terrible at the beginning. She didn't know,
sure.
and in some ways Mina doesn't still know. The regimens of television confuse her and don't make her best self, but we could sink into the mistakes around here. It's something I wanted to tell you. You were mentioning the content at ESPN when Skipper was there. To this day, now that he's the CEO of our company, I mean, this dude is a conqueror. This dude has relationships at the highest points in industry, but the happiest I see him is when he is talking about creative content. Now, he is somebody who
Mhm.
reads a ton, loves museums, but he himself is not a creator. So he likes to empower them. He is better at what you're talking about than I am, which is identifying. That's what he was doing when he put me in this. His whole thing at ESPN was, and you'll appreciate this part. I don't know if I've told you this before, but he worked at ESPN and he realized that there were a lot of people around him who were lifers, and he was trying to do something as someone who comes from magazines and Rolling Stone and Rebellion. He's like, okay, how do I make this a little bit edgier, a little bit less Bristol lifer? Okay, I'm going to put some outposts here in Washington. We'll make us a national company. Put something in Los Angeles. Go grab the writers. Put something in Miami. He tried for years to change the culture of whatever it is, 4,000 employees, and was like, you know what? I'm not going to try and change everybody here anymore. I'm just going to hire a handful of fire starters. So that was my job. My job,
Mm.
I didn't want to work at ESPN. I was fine in Miami. My job was go start fires. See what kind of other creatives end up gravitating to you. See if you could give some people around here permission to do what you guys were doing around the television, Cari. It's crazy to me. I didn't know we were doing that, but I get so much of that. People in Bristol were staring at their televisions as if an alien had landed
Oh,
on
for sure.
a spaceship had landed on the
Of
campus.
course.
How are they
Yes.
allowed to do this? Why are they allowed to do this? Who allows them to do this? And now you have your answer. We were hired to do it. The man who now runs Metalark as the CEO, somewhere within that, he saw in us the ability to do that and give people like Cari Champion permission that she didn't have to exist as a postage stamp between the $89,000 a week check and whatever the check was that was bigger than that.